Switzerland is supposed to be one of the most expensive countries in the world, but we managed to fly here, hire a car, and drive through the mountains for far less than we expected. We're Sarah and Kate, and this is part 1 of our Switzerland trip. In this series, we'll share exactly how much we spent, from flights and hotels to food, accommodation, activities, and hidden costs. Although we've used the Eurotunnel before to get to Disney Paris, driving to our accommodation in Switzerland would have taken more than 11 hours without stopping, so this time we decided to fly. To save money, we chose an early morning flight time, used a companion voucher, and miles on our British Airways account. So we spent under £100 for 3 adult seats. We could have flown into Geneva Airport, which was closer to where we were staying. However, it was significantly cheaper to fly into Zurich, and this meant we could visit the lint factory on our return. So it was a very easy choice. The rest of our family had 2 adults and 2 children, and their flights came in at around £500 without vouchers, which wasn't too bad considering each ticket had 23 kilograms of checked luggage. As we were unsure about how much a food shop over in Switzerland would cost us, we made sure to pack lots of essentials, snacks, and drinks for the kids to save money. Perishables like meat, fruit, and dairy would be bought when we arrived. Now, because we didn't fancy a 3-hour drive to Heathrow, a 1 hour and 45-minute flight, and then another 3 to 4 hour drive to our accommodation, we booked a stay in the B&B Hotel London Heathrow, which is a 5-minute drive from Terminal 5. It was modern, clean, quiet, and honestly perfect for a one-night airport stay. The bar served drinks and snacks, and breakfast and evening meals were available as a paid extra. There was plenty of comfy seats, and we always think you can tell the quality of a hotel by the loos, and these were fancy. Booking the family room only cost us £96 and included a 10% discount we had through work. We also found it was cheaper than booking a later flight, so it actually saved us money overall. Our family room was modern, clean, and a good size with 1 king-size bed and a bunk bed. The bathroom was spacious with toiletries included. In the morning, we validated our parking ticket at reception, paid about £15, which was in line with other local hotels, and headed to the airport. We pre-booked our parking through the official Heathrow parking website, opting for on-site long stay. This cost us £129.20 for 7 nights. We went through Top Cashback to save a few pounds, and find booking in advance is always cheaper than leaving to nearer the time of travel. And if you log into the BA website 24 hours before your flight, you can select your seats free of charge. Despite being such a short flight and quicker than the estimated 1 hour and 45 minutes, we were offered a complimentary bottle of water and a pack of biscuits. And before we knew it, we were landing into Zurich. It was quite a walk from the plane to luggage and car hire, and if you get the short train shuttle, it's both fun and very fast. Now, the cost of the car hire did make us wince a bit. Having hired numerous cars in the US, Europe is always a bit of a shock. We found it was expensive for a relatively small car, and the other options, such as additional drivers, which are always included in the States, is not something we found available free of charge in Europe. Adding fully comp insurance can more than double the final cost as well, so be sure to check everything before you buy. After a lot of searching, we booked through Zest Car Rental. We hired a small SUV provided by Alamo, which cost around £500 for the week with full insurance included. By booking through Zest, everything was included and there was no additional or hidden charges for full insurance. Our package included unlimited mileage and required us to fill up the tank on our return. Additional drivers was an added cost, which we decided not to include this time. Now, despite filling in our information online at the time of booking, collecting the car took over an hour, which was a little frustrating. A credit card in the name of the driver is required, and a hold of £2,000 was put onto the card at the time of rental, with it being released on our return. After queuing at the desk and then having to complete more forms, we headed to the garage, only to find our car wasn't there. Another half an hour of waiting, our car was brought to the collection point, and we could finally play Tetris, trying to fit all our luggage into the boot and back seats. Finally, we were leaving Zurich, and driving was smoother than we expected. In Switzerland, they have a number of toll roads, and drivers are required to have a toll pass called a vignette. This was included in our car rental and something which is common when hiring a car, but it's always best to check. We found Switzerland had a well-maintained network of roads, including highways, local roads, and scenic mountain routes. Green signs were for highways, blue were for normal roads, and brown were for attractions. Having a GPS was essential, and we used our phones to get around. The signal was a lot better than at home as well. As with most mobile contracts, our data is included when travelling through Europe. However, you can buy an eSIM, and we've put some recommendations in the description. We'd read that Switzerland strictly enforced speed limits, so we were always careful to check the speed limit wherever we were. Generally, motorways have a limit of 120 kilometers an hour. On rural roads, it's about 80 kilometers an hour, and in urban areas, it's usually 50 kilometers an hour. So at this point, our total spend for the trip was around £840.20. Driving from the airport to our accommodation took about 3 hours, and honestly, the pictures don't do it justice. In the next video, we'll show you inside our chalet, reveal what food actually costs in Switzerland, and whether self-catering really saved us money. See you in part 2.